Hello everyone, welcome back to Owen's Treat. Today we will be making 3 holiday themed treats that are really easy that weigh from 2 ingredients to 5 ingredients. Today we'll need a stand mixer or a hand mixer if you have it available. We're going to need a small bowl, a large bowl, a small bowl, a very small bowl, 1 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, some crushed up candy canes. I just used a rolling pin and I smashed it inside a plastic baggie, a little bit of vanilla, not that much, probably like 1/4 teaspoon, 4 drops of green coloring, 40 marshmallows, 5 1/2 cup of regular plain cornflakes, 1/2 cup of butter divided into small cubes, 4 large eggs, sugar sprinkles, usually the red kind. Let's get started. Our first treat we're going to make is a 2-ingredient brownie that tastes amazing, and it tastes like a regular brownie. It's very moist and very fluffy. What are we going to do first is that we're going to take our eggs and we're going to separate the whites from the yolks. Now, not everyone's good at this, and that's totally fine. I've messed up many times. So take your time with it. I just like cracking them and then having the shells on either side and just slowly doing it. Crack it on a flat surface so that you get an even cut. Then we're going to separate very slowly. Try to get as much of the white out as possible. Then we're going to toss the yolk into this one. I'm going to keep doing that until we get most of the white out. If your yolk happens to crack or break during this process, you can quickly put it inside the next container, but if it cracks into the whites, you're going to have to throw the egg out and try again. We're going to move on to our second egg. You just want to separate all the eggs. So now that we have our eggs separated into the yolks and into the whites, we're going to get our hand mixer or stand mixer. I have the whisk attachment with the small bowl, and then we're just going to pour our egg whites into it. We're going to whip our egg whites until they're nice and fluffy, and we want stiff peaks. We also want to have it as a gradual pace, so we want to go slow and then we're going to go really high. Let's check now. Stiff peaks! Yay, we got stiff peaks finally. Alright, so we're going to take a large bowl and we're going to take a spatula and kind of just try to get as much of that egg white fluff off the top as possible. And we're going to put this off to the side. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to melt our chocolate chips, which you want to do in 30-second increments, no further or else you might burn it. So now that we have our chocolate all melted, we're going to take our spoon and then we're going to dump it into the bowl. As much of the chocolate you can get out. Make sure it's still warm when you're doing this. But you don't want it too hot because it might cook our yolks when we put them in. And then we're going to take our egg yolks and we're going to add it into the chocolate. Make sure it's not too hot, because if the chocolate is too hot, it will cut the eggs and it will scramble them on the inside, making for a very undelectable, very eggy type of brownie that we do not want. And we're going to continue to mix with the spoon that we have. You just want to make sure everything is incorporated. And we see no yellow spots inside. Now that we have our chocolate mixed in with our yolk, then we're going to take our egg whites and we're just going to add them in about like 1/4 at a time. So you don't want to add it in all at once. Just little at a time. And we just kind of want to fold it in. We don't want to stir it in, or we don't want to mix it in. We just want to fold it in so we incorporate all the air that we got from the egg whites, and we're just adding that back into the batter. Now that we have our batter done, we want to put this in a parchment paper lined deep tray, or if you want to do thinner brownies, you can put it into like a baking tray or whatnot. But we're just gonna put that in, and then we're gonna bake it for 12 to 15 minutes in the oven at 350. What we're doing is that we're melting chocolate. I added a tablespoon of butter to this to make it a little bit more glossy. And I also have the brownies fresh from the oven. They look amazing. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of the chocolate and we're gonna drizzle it on some of the brownie tops. Simple as that. Kind of spread it around, corner to corner, side to side, that kind of thing. Perfect. Now that we have that all set, I'm going to put this down, spill a little bit of chocolate, who can blame me, and we're going to take some of our crushed up peppermint that we have here. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit on top of each one of the brownies. This adds a nice peppermint taste and it tastes amazing with the brownies, especially with the chocolate. And there we go. We have our peppermint top brownies. They look amazing. These are going to go into the fridge as well. We're now going to work on our second treat, holly cornflake cookies. I have a spatula and my butter. We're gonna wait until this heats up just a little bit, and then we're gonna add in our butter and marshmallows. And then we're just gonna add that all together, and then we're gonna add in the little bit of vanilla, and then we're gonna add in our food coloring. We're gonna add in the butter, and then we're gonna add in our marshmallows. We're just gonna blend that all together. So make sure you're constantly stirring because the marshmallows might stick to the pan and the butter might burn. So just continuously stir until you see that the butter's kind of like covering all the marshmallows. That's what you Actually, this is a good time to add in our vanilla. And we're going to add in our food coloring. Now we only need like 2 or 3 drops of this, so don't go over crazy. We just want to color this green. So now that we have everything homogeneous and it looks amazing, we're going to add our 5 1/2 cups of plain cornflakes. Excuse me. And what we're basically doing is we're just folding the marshmallow mixture into the cornflake mixture. Now that everything is emulsified and all the cornflakes are covered in the nice, amazing butter and marshmallow mixture, we're going to turn the heat off. And then we just want this to cool just a tiny bit, not too much or else it'll harden. So we're just going to let this cool to the touch. What we're going to do next is that I have a parchment-lined baking sheet here, a cooking sheet. Take spoonfuls of the holly mixture. We're just going to plop them on. You kind of want to use the back side of the spoon just to like tie it all together. So now that we have them all on our baking sheet, we're going to add a little bit of the sprinkles on top of them because I don't like Red Hots. I usually eat around them. They're not as enjoyable or tasty. So I thought for a substitute, I just add some sugar sprinkles. There we go, perfect. So what we're going to do with these is that we're just going to pop these into the fridge for at least an hour, and then they're ready to enjoy. And for our last and final treat, we have the simplest of them all, Peppermint Bark. So what we're doing is we're just going to pour some chocolate onto the sheet, simple as that. I'm going to try to get as much chocolate out as possible. There we go. And then we're going to just take the back of our spoon. I'm just going to spread it around. And there we go. Now that we have our chocolate spread out, we're just going to add most or the rest of our peppermint shavings on top of it. Now you can go overload with this. I like to do that because I really like peppermint on the chocolate. It adds a whole different flavor. It tastes amazing. You get a nice crunch with it too. And there we go. This is also going to go into the fridge, so everything ends up in the fridge eventually. This has been my 3 holiday treats. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.